Welcome to this exciting journey into the world of creative writing. Today, as part of the Becoming an Author series, we will explore Lecture 4, Crafting Characters, Real and Imagined. A fun way for me, your lecturer Jared, to guide you through how characters come to life in stories. Have you ever wondered where your favorite characters come from? Like the brave kids in adventure books, the silly animals in tales, or the heroes with magical powers? No character is made from nothing. I use what I see in real life, like a friend's laugh or a teacher's kindness, and mix it with my imagination to create something new and exciting. In this lecture, I'll show you how observation, watching real people, and imagination, dreaming up new ideas, work together to build awesome characters. We'll look at continuums between real-life inspirations and made-up worlds, share quotes from famous authors, and examine examples from classic books you can find for free. By the end, you'll have helpful tips, creative activities, and inspiring ideas to try in your own writing, helping you craft characters that leap off the page. Let's dive in and uncover the magic of creating characters together. Have you ever created a character in a story that felt a little like your best friend, a sibling, or even your pet? That's because no fictional character is created out of nothing. I draw from behaviors, traits, and actions I've seen in myself or others, like how I might notice your friend's funny dance moves, your dog's wagging tail, or your teacher's encouraging smile, and mix them with my imagination to make something new. As middle school writers, you can do this too. Think about how your characters show your view of the world around you, like the fun times at school, the adventures in your dreams, or the kindness you see in others. This process helps turn your observations into stories filled with heroes, friends, and magical beings. Let me guide you through how writers use observation and imagination to build characters, with help from famous authors and examples from classic books. There's a continuum between observation and imagination. Some writers base characters mostly on people they know, like friends or family, creating versions that feel familiar yet unique, with a twist of creativity. Others dream up characters who are totally different from anyone they've met, imagining lives they've never lived, like a knight in a far-off kingdom or a talking cloud. For example, I might use observation to create a character like a chatty classmate who loves jokes, then use imagination to place them in a flying spaceship or a hidden jungle, adding a magic wand or a secret map. This blend makes stories exciting and personal, reflecting both reality and fantasy. As Luke Taylor said, fiction is a careful combination of observation, inspiration, and imagination. This means great stories mix what I see in real life, like a teacher's smile, with what I dream up, like a talking tree, to craft unforgettable characters. Let's look at an example from a classic book. Mark Twain, an American writer who loved adventure stories and drew from his own childhood, created The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, about a boy growing up in a small town along the Mississippi River. Twain based Tom on his playful memories and friends he knew, like kids who loved pranks. In one scene, Tom tricks his friends into painting a fence for him. The excerpt reads, "Tom sat down with a brush in hand, dipping it in the whitewash, and began to paint the fence with long, smooth strokes, his face showing pure joy as if it were the best fun in the world, the sun shining on the boards, the river sparkling nearby, the birds chirping in the trees, the faint splash of water adding a playful rhythm, and the warm wood creaking under his touch." This shows Tom's clever nature through his actions, the smooth strokes and joyful face, and details like the sun, river splash, bird chirps, and wood creak, instead of just saying he's sneaky. Twain used observation from real kids he knew to make Tom feel like a real boy, but simplified him for the story's fun, focusing on his prank without the everyday details like homework or chores. On the other end, imagination lets writers create characters from experiences they've never had, stretching their creativity like a muscle. As Philip Boze Farmer said, "Imagination is like a muscle. I found out that the more I wrote, the bigger it got. Practice makes your imagination stronger, letting you invent characters from different times or places, like a future astronaut exploring new planets, or a medieval jester juggling colorful balls. Here's an example. Frances Hodgson Burnett, a British-American writer who loved nature and drew from her own love of gardens, wrote The Secret Garden about a girl named Mary who discovers a hidden garden and finds friendship. I imagine Burnett pictured Mary's transformation from lonely to happy, even though she added her own experiences of finding joy in nature. In one scene, Mary finds the garden key. The excerpt reads, "Mary dug in the soft earth, her fingers dirty and cold, thinking, this key might open something wonderful. As the wind whispered through the ivy, the robin's song cheered her on. The sun peeked through the clouds like a friendly smile. The damp soil clung to her shoes with a squishy sound, and the rustle of leaves hinted at hidden secrets." This shows Mary's growing hope through her thoughts and actions. The dirty fingers, whispering wind, robin's song, sunny smile, squishy soil, and rustling leaves, instead of telling us she's changing. Burnett used imagination to create Mary's world, blending it with real feelings of wonder from her own life, making the garden a magical escape. There's another continuum, creating characters from the outside in, starting with looks and actions, versus inside out, starting with thoughts and feelings. For outside in, I focus on what characters do and say, like an actor choosing a costume, a funny walk, or a loud laugh. For inside out, I dive into their minds, like sharing their dreams, worries, or silly ideas. This choice shapes how readers connect with them, whether through watching their moves or feeling their thoughts. Let's see outside in with Jane Austen, an English writer who wrote funny stories about love and society. In Pride and Prejudice, she introduces Elizabeth Bennet. The excerpt reads, "Elizabeth walked through the garden, her eyes sparkling with wit, her steps light and quick, chatting with her sister about the new neighbors, the flowers blooming around them, the breeze carrying laughter, her bonnet fluttering in the wind, and her hands brushing the petals gently." This shows Elizabeth's smart personality through her sparkling eyes, quick steps, chatty words, fluttering bonnet, and petal touch instead of saying she's clever. Austen used outside details, her walk, talk, and flower touch to let us see her character, like watching a play unfold with every step. For Inside Out, Charlotte Bronte, an English writer who loved strong heroes, wrote Jane Eyre about a girl who faces big challenges and dreams of freedom. In one scene, Jane thinks about her life. The excerpt reads, "Jane sat by the window thinking, I want to learn and be free. As the rain pattered on the glass, the fire crackled in the room. Her book lay open on her lap. The cold draft brushed her neck, and the soft glow of the candle warmed her hands." This shows Jane's determination through her thoughts, the desire for freedom, and details like the pattering rain, crackling fire, open book, cold draft, and candle glow. Bronte used inside feelings to build Jane from her mind out, letting us feel her hopes like a close friend sharing a quiet moment. As Ernest Hemingway said, when writing a novel, a writer should create living people, people not characters. A character is a caricature. I mix observation and imagination to make characters feel alive, whether from outside actions, like a character's twirl, or inside thoughts. To practice, think about a character from a book and list what you know about them, their looks, thoughts, fears, favorites, and quirks. For Alice, list her curiosity, bravery, love for puzzles, blue dress, and habit of talking to herself. This helps see how I simplify characters using both observation and imagination, blending real traits with made-up twists. Picking the right approach depends on your story. For a funny tale, use outside in with silly actions like a clown tripping over big shoes with a honk and a tumble. For a thoughtful story, use inside out with deep thoughts, like a character wondering about a new school, feeling nervous butterflies, dreaming of new friends, and hearing the school bell ring. As Elizabeth Bowen said, Characters are not created by writers. They pre-exist and have to be found. I discover my characters by mixing what I see, like a friend's laugh, with what I dream, like a flying horse with shimmering wings. Your story and characters are connected. You can't have one without the other. Try different ways, like starting with a character's laugh, then building a world where that laugh saves the day with a magical echo, or starting with a thought like, I want to explore, and creating a jungle adventure with vines to swing on. L.M. Montgomery, a Canadian writer who loved friendship stories, wrote Anne of Green Gables about a lively girl adopted by a family. In one scene, Anne imagines a magical world. The excerpt reads, Anne twirled in the field, her red braids swinging, thinking, this is my own fairyland, as the wildflowers brushed her ankles. The breeze carried the scent of clover. The blue sky stretched above like an endless dream, and the soft hum of bees filled the air with a gentle buzz. This shows Anne's imagination with her twirl, fairy thoughts, flower brush, sky dream, and bee hum. Montgomery used imagination to create Anne's joyful world, drawing from real feelings of wonder and her love for nature, adding a touch of her own childhood dreams. C.S. Lewis, a British writer who crafted magical tales, wrote The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe about children entering a snowy land called Narnia. In one scene, Lucy steps into Narnia for the first time. The excerpt reads, Lucy pushed through the wardrobe, the crunch of snow under her shoes surprising her, thinking, where am I? As the cold air nipped her cheeks, the faint jingle of bells echoed from a distant sleigh, and the white landscape sparkled like a frozen wonderland under a pale winter sun. E.B. White, an American writer who loved animals, wrote Charlotte's Web about a pig named Wilbur and a spider named Charlotte. In one scene, Charlotte weaves her web to save Wilbur. The excerpt reads, Charlotte sat in her web thinking, I must make a word to help him. As the silk threads glistened in the moonlight, the barn creaked softly, the scent of hay drifted up, and Wilbur's gentle snore hummed below with a rhythmic peace. This shows Charlotte's cleverness and care through her thoughts, the plan to help, and details like glistening silk, creaking barn, hay scent, and Wilbur's snore, letting us feel her determination in a cozy, animal-filled setting. A. Milne, an English writer, created fun animal tales like Winnie the Pooh, featuring a bear and his forest friends. In one scene, Pooh and Piglet embark on a search for the North Pole together. Pooh walks beside Piglet, pondering the importance of the pole amidst crunching leaves, playful wind, golden sunlight, and Piglet's excited steps. Pooh's thoughtfulness and Piglet's eagerness shine through their actions and the lively environment, enhancing their teamwork. Stephen King's Salem's Lot portrays a vibrant day with powerful sun, morning haze, warm playground, laughter, creaking swings, sunscreen aroma, bright slide, ice cream taste, and bouncing balls. A hot day filled with sensory details, warmth, laughter, creaking swings, sunscreen scent, bright slides, ice cream taste, and bouncing balls, creating a lively scene. Creating characters blends real-life observations, like a friend's laugh or a pet's trick, with imaginative elements like flying horses or magical cloaks to make them unique. Use quotes from authors like Hemingway about real people and examples from literature for inspiration in character creation. Practice by listing character traits and writing short scenes that show them through actions like skipping or internal thoughts like, I love this game, with a racing heart. Imagine a new story friend by combining real observations like a bright smile with imaginary magic powers such as invisibility, using details like shimmering air, sneaky giggles, and sparkles in their eyes. Write about a school event, illustrating a character's excitement with cheers, fluttering flags, thoughts like, this is my moment, popcorn taste, rustling banners, warm sun, and distant drum beats. Experiment with different feelings, places, and traits, learning from authors like White, Montgomery, Lewis, Twain, or Milne, and you'll make characters that shine. Next, we'll talk about character details. Keep imagining, stay curious, let your creativity soar, share your tales with pride, and watch your characters become stars of your own stories, growing with every page you write. Keep your pencils sharp and your mind open as you continue this amazing writing adventure.